Rose Coleman back with a Friday live video, and if you read the description, yes, we are using pizza boxes and alcohol today, but not consuming alcohol, right? So I don't want Facebook to shut me down for drinking on my business page, but anyway, let's get to the point. Okay, so in our catalog, if you're joining me live, feel free to say hi. In the holiday catalog, we have a bunch of new products that I'm very excited about. One of them is on page, actually a couple of them are on page 44. It's the mini pizza boxes. Okay, so the package looks like this. They're just little mini pizza boxes, and they are 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 square. And I'm just gonna pull one out. It's sold in a package of 8 for just $8. So like $1. 8 for $8. And the other thing that coordinates with them is a 3 by 3. You can make a 3 by 3 note card, and we also now sell the 3 by 3 envelopes in a package of 40. You get for $11.75, you get 40 envelopes. Okay, so we're gonna play with this pizza box, and I'm actually gonna show you one way you can what you can do with the pizza box. Okay, so you can put chocolates in this. You can put cards in it. We're gonna make little cards today to put in the pizza box. So I'm going to flip the camera and get right to it because I have stamps and ink and different stuff to show you. I got a lot of stuff to show you in today's Facebook Friday video. And we're going to be using rubbing alcohol, okay? Not drinking alcohol, but rubbing alcohol and re-inkers. So going to get a little messy. I'm going to put my rubber gloves on and we're going to get started. And if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the comments. Send me some hearts. Let me know if you have any questions, or yeah, just let me know. Okay, and I will respond to the comments even if I don't see them online, like live while we're doing it, but I should be able to glance up every now and then, and if you have a question. Now, let's see if I can flip the camera with these gloves on. Okay, awesome, it worked. Okay, flipping the camera down so you can see my work surface here. All right, so like I said, we're gonna play with some rubbing alcohol. Let me just move my camera a little bit. So what I have here for you today is, let me just bring in my little container. I have rubbing alcohol. These are our spritzers, our Stampin' Up! Spritzers. So what I've done in here is I've put 10 drops of Cajun Craze ink. Okay, see these are our re-inkers that we sell for our ink pads. I put 10 drops in there and then I filled it up with rubbing alcohol, gave it a little mix, and that's what we're going to use to color our pizza box. Okay, so I've just used an old container and I put some paper towel in there just so I could save my work surface. Although this ink should clean right off because it is water-based. So the pizza boxes have a flat side and the other side is shiny. So I love that because you can actually do different things with the glossy side. But we're going to play with the flat side today. So I'm just going to lay it down in my little container and open up my spritzer. Make sure when you use the spritzer that you point the nozzle towards your project and not your face. Ask me how I know. No, I'm just kidding. So I'm just gonna stand back here and spritz my pizza box, Cajun Craze, and it's so funny because actually my container is Cajun Craze. So the more you spritz, the darker the color will come. And because I'm using rubbing alcohol, it'll dry pretty fast. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep inking this guy up until I'm happy with the color. And then we can get going on the rest of the project. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just gonna let that dry for a minute. Just keep, I like it pretty dark actually. I did one before I started the filming and it turned out, I love the color. That's the Cajun Craze color, so I love that. I'm just gonna set this aside and let it dry. And I'm gonna take off my gloves and we'll start with the stamping. Whoop, I did make a mess, didn't I? I'm actually gonna get some more grid paper because I've got ink. See the ink on my grid paper? So grid paper, I should bring this in and show you. We actually sell these pads. You can buy them in the catalog for your own work surface at home. So this is great because it keeps your table clean and you can stamp on it as a practice with your when you're stamping. So I'm just going to wipe up around here a little bit where I got some ink spritzed over here. So for our pizza box, we're going to need cardstock that measures 3 inches by 6 inches. Okay, so I've cut out of Cajun Craze, I've got 3 inches by 6 inches, and then I scored it at 3 inches. Okay, so I made 3 little cards here, and then I went ahead and I cut myself 3 mats. This is our crushed curry. So these are cut 2 and 3/4 by 2 3/4 square. And I've got some vanilla, very vanilla, 2.5 by 2.5 inch pieces. So I'm just gonna grab those. This is what I'm gonna be stamping on, my vanilla. So I'm actually gonna make 3 little mini cards here, and I'm gonna make them thank you cards. So I've got those set up. The stamp set that I'm gonna be using is called Painted Harvest from the new catalog. I love this stamp set. It's like a watercolor look, and you'll see how easy it is to stamp with it in a second when I ink it up. The leaves here, it's a 2-tone, a 2-step, so you can do the background and then the leaves over top. And we also have a punch that coordinates with this set. And you know, if you buy both together in a bundle, you'll save 10%. So that's always a good deal when Stampin' Up! Comes out with bundles. So I'm just gonna sit down here and show you how I stamped up these cards and bring in my ink and my stamps here. I'll just move my little cards off to the side for a second. So the first thing I want to do is I'm using Early Espresso ink, and I wanted to stamp this one right here. It's I Am Thankful for You. So that's the one I'm going to stamp in Early Espresso. So tap, 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 and just stamp it right at the top. Might as well do all 3 at once. I'll show you how quickly you can ink up and make these beautiful sunflowers. So for my sunflower, there's these 2 stamps that coordinate together. There's the background and then the highlight on top. So this is the background, it's a bigger one, and the highlight is actually a little smaller, and the etching on the stamp is phenomenal. It's beautiful, and you'll see in a second. So for this one, I'm just gonna stamp down in the corner. And I am on a hard surface, but I do recommend that you use the Stampin' pad, the Stampin' Pierce pad for stamping photopolymer, because the photopolymer doesn't have that layer of foam like our wood stamps do. So when you're stamping, you don't have that extra layer of support when you're using photopolymer, but the pad helps you. So always use your Stampin' pad when you're stamping with photopolymer. I'll just keep going on my other 2 here with, I'm using, sorry, I should tell you, I'm actually using, crushed curry for my background. And then I'm gonna go over top with Cajun Craze. And you know, the beauty of this sunflower stamp is you don't have to worry about lining it up. When you go over top like that, it just adds that nice little dark accent, like nice dimension. Just trying to keep them away from each other here. And I'm just gonna turn this around a little bit. Stamp that one over top. And then my 3rd one. Right there. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I can move my Cajun Craze away for a second. I'm gonna come back in. The stamp set has a center, which I'm gonna ink up with Early Espresso. And I'm just gonna line that up in the center. And stamp the centers. I like to stamp 3 times, tap, 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 at least 3 times to get it nice and juicy. There. The stamp set also has this little like speckle. So I'm gonna stamp a couple of those in the center of my flower. Just adds a little bit more dimension. There. Okay, I'm happy with that. So those are my layers for my card. I'm just gonna move this off to the side for a second. So now I can go ahead and put together, just gonna glance at the screen. The best part of Friday, Helena says, hi Helena. Yes, it is. I agree. Did you mean the alcohol part or did you mean the Facebook Live video? No, I'm just kidding. I know what you mean. So I'm layering my very vanilla piece onto a piece of 2 3/4. So this is 2.5 inch square, and my crushed curry, or my Cajun craze, my goodness, crushed curry is 2 3/4. Okay, so 2.5 and 2 3/4. And then my Cajun craze card base is actually 3 by 3. So I love how these colors all go together. And when you put everything together, you see how the ink and the cardstock all coordinate. So there's one of my cards, and I'll just quickly do the other two. And this fast fuse adhesive, oh my goodness, it is the stickiest. Things will never fall apart, pretty much never. You'd have to really tear it apart, and you'd ruin your cardstock tearing it apart, so you'd have to start over. Fast fuse is extremely sticky. I've used fast fuse for boxes, and they have not fallen apart. So if you want a sticky adhesive, fast fuse is your best friend. Okay, so I'm just going to stick these on like this, and then I'm done my 3 cards, my little mini cards. So there we go. I'm just going to lay those right there. Now I just do want to mention these envelopes are so cute. So they're meant for 3 by 3 cards. So the 3 by 3 envelopes, it's always fun to stamp your envelope, okay? So you can do that so quickly with this one. And it's always nice to have your envelope matching. I'll just do one just to show you. Just a little sunflower down in the corner. How fun is that? A little matching envelope for your card. So that's our cards. Now let's go back to the pizza box and see how it's doing. All right, here's my pizza box. Let me show you how easy it is to fold this guy up. So we just fold on all of the score lines. Okay, and everything is all pre-scored. You just have to fold it up together, just like a regular pizza box. Still a little bit damp from the alcohol, but that's okay, it'll dry. So the best way to do it is to do the front first. Can you see what I'm doing here? So you do the front little tabs first, and then you fold the front fold over. And then there's these little notches where those little tabs will go down to close your box. Then you fold these in, and then come forward towards yourself with the lid. Just like that. There. So there's my flat little pizza box that these cards will fit nicely into. So for the pizza box, now we can decorate the lid, okay? So it's always fun to give something that's already decorated. So I have, because it's I think they're 3 1/4. So I've cut my cardstock, yeah, I've cut my cardstock 3 1/4. So it must be 3 1/2. Let me just quickly read. Yeah, they're 3 1/2 by 3 1/2 and 1 inch deep, okay? So I've cut my crushed curry piece of cardstock 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And I'm just gonna go ahead and use my fast fuse. Oh. Of course, because I'm on camera, I had to run out, but I have another one, thankfully, right next to me. So I'm gonna stick that layer on top. And now I can decorate one of my layers now for the top. So also in this stamp set, there's your kindness means so much, more than you will ever know. Think about all the people you could send that to, right? So I've got that one on a block here, and I'm going to ink that up with some Cajun Craze. I'm going to stamp that right in the center, just like that. This stamp set also comes with these 2 leaves, as I was mentioning before. So I brought in my Pear Pizzazz. I'm going to ink up the background, the solid background, stamp that in the corner. And then there's an accent one with all the details of the leaf. That can fit right over top of that leaf, like that. And I want to show you something else today. There's a new background stamp in the catalog, and it's called burlap. Can you see that? That is the shape of burlap, okay? So use undo to get them apart. Oh, great idea, Michaela. Yes, undo is a fabulous thing to have. Everybody should have some undo. Okay, so I'm going to ink up my background stamp with some crumb cake. So this is the burlap. I'm just going to ink it all up like this. Whoops. And I'm going to lay my cardstock down on my pad and just ink up the burlap, just for a little bit of dimension. And just peel that off. And that's the look. Can you see that? That's the burlap in the background. Just adds a little bit more dimension. And I see that this did not stay, and I think it's because my box is still a little tiny bit wet with the alcohol, but that's okay. Try that again. So that goes on there like that. Now I can go ahead and put some fast fuse on my top layer. I can stick that down on my box. And my box is just about done. I guess now I can actually put my 3 cards, and I'll grab a couple more envelopes and show you how they fit right in the box, just like that, and you close it up. And I have not used any embellishments on this little project yet, but I do have to show you this ribbon here. It's called copper trim. And I don't know if you can see on camera, but it is copper, and it's almost like pantyhose. You can actually separate it, and it actually looks like fishnet. I'm just going to pull it apart here and see if I can show you the texture of this copper ribbon. Can you see that on my hand? It's like copper ribbon. It's like a fishnet texture. I don't know if you can see it against this background here. Anyway, it makes beautiful bows, but if you have the patience to pull it apart, you can totally get that fishnet look for your projects. So I've taken this ribbon and I've actually just made it into a bow like this, just a regular bow. I'm going to stick that on my project with a glue dot. I'll just grab my glue dot, and I always like to take my bow and stick it onto my glue dot, and then I can pick up my bow, and it already has a sticky on the back. I'm going to add that to the corner. So there's my box, the pizza box all decorated with the cards inside. Would make a great gift. You could put chocolates in there. You could put cookies in there. Actually, I think that's probably why they do a glossy on the inside, so that you could put cookies in there and you wouldn't get that, you know, those like grease marks sometimes from cookies. So you could put food in here. Let me show you, before I went on camera, I actually stamped up one with the burlap. So you can stamp these boxes with stamps. I just did a background on here. You could sponge it, you could emboss on it, like whatever you can do with cardstock, you could do with these little cute little boxes. So that is my project for Facebook Friday. So don't forget, rubbing alcohol is your friend with reinkers. You can spritz up just about anything. Just give it a chance to dry, and just be careful where you are spritzing. You don't want to spritz that rubbing alcohol into your eyes, okay? Especially with the reinker in there. So thanks for joining me today. I'm going to go back and read your comments, and if you have any questions about anything in the Stampin' Up! Catalog, if you need a copy of this catalog or the main one, just drop me a line, and have a great weekend, you guys, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.